Hi everyone, it's me Gaming Do, and welcome to my brand new series, This versus That. In this series, we are just going to be doing random this versus that rounds over certain topics. To start with today's first episode, we're going to be doing Pre Movie SpongeBob versus the first 3 seasons of The Loud House. These are two Nicktoons that are still on to this day, with one lasting way over 20 years and the other one lasting over 6 years. We are going to see which show is better overall. Now, in this general series, I'm not just going to be doing cartoons or movies and stuff like that. I am going to be doing whatever topic I want for this versus that. So it could be something as simple as like a fast food chain, or it could be something as complicated as like a whole movie franchise or something like that. It could be anything. But today we are starting with Pre-Movie SpongeBob versus the first 3 seasons of The Loud House. And let's get right on into it. To me, these shows are both kids' comedy shows, with one being a little more reliant on the comedy than the other. Here's the thing. Loud House is more of a slice of life show where it does have comedy, but it also does depend on the family bonding moments. And while there are some sweet bonding moments in Pre-Movie SpongeBob, it's not really the main focus. The main focus is the freaking comedy. Which, as much as I like the first 3 seasons of The Loud House's comedy way more than both SpongeBob and The Loud House's season 4 and onward, I don't think there's ever going to be a show on Nickelodeon that is more funny than Pre-Movie SpongeBob. You've got so many freaking iconic lines, such as, is mayonnaise an instrument? Wumbo, imagination. So many others. There's just whoever's the owner of the White Sudan, you left your lights on. I love you. Chocolate! It's just... SpongeBob moments are freaking iconic. Come on. Even with some of the least known pre-movie episodes like The Paper, are still probably overall funnier than even the funniest first 3 seasons Loud House episodes. Most of the best jokes from the Loud House come from a few characters, in my opinion. Mainly Lenny and Lola. And sometimes Clyde can give me a chuckle too, but not every character I could consider funny. Pretty much every character in Pre-Movie SpongeBob is funny in their own way. And it's just awesome to see. They all have moments that have made me laugh. Even characters like Mrs. Puff that goes, "Oh, SpongeBob, why?" Every single character in Pre-Movie SpongeBob makes me laugh. Well, I can't really say that about the Loud House. So, who's going to be winning round one with the comedy? Well, that is going to go to SpongeBob. It's freaking iconic. Come on. How could you possibly think any Nicktoon period is going to beat the pure comedy of Pre-Movie SpongeBob? It's just freaking hilarious. Both of these shows' first seasons started with very rough versions of their animation. But one is more noticeable than the other, and one improved a lot more in its animation, even throughout the first season. And that is why, unlike the last round, the Loud House is going to get the win for this round. But let me explain why. SpongeBob was a very shell-shaded show in its first season. It was pretty much drawn entirely by hand in the first season, while Loud House from the get-go was used pretty much entirely by computers. The animation in, like, the first 2 episodes of the Loud House is subpar compared to the rest of the series, but as soon as we get on to the next episode after that, I pretty much see the animation quality is pretty much the same throughout the rest of the series. Okay, that may not be entirely true, but it hasn't changed nearly to a drastic degree that SpongeBob did. SpongeBob's first season and its first episode does look rougher than the rest of Season 1, but holy crap, the animation of Season 1 in general compared to the rest of the series is drastically different. It feels mostly like a 90s Nicktoon. Well, because it came out in 1999, I guess that makes sense. But, yeah. As for Seasons 2 and 3, I'd say they're about on par with each other. Loud House didn't change as much with going into Seasons 2 and 3, while SpongeBob really did. So ultimately for the animation, not just because the show is close to 20 years newer than the first season of SpongeBob, but just because the animation got better quicker, the Loud House is going to win this round as, in my opinion, it's got some of the best animation in Nickelodeon history. Alright, so who is the better main character? We will first go into SpongeBob in general. SpongeBob in the first 3 seasons of the show isn't the energetic sugar ball that he is in pretty much every season after Pre Movie. Even the newest seasons, which are an improvement, but SpongeBob is on sugar since Season 4. In the first 3 seasons, though, he's happy, energetic, he's committed to his job, he's very optimistic, but he can have his limits. Especially in the episode Can You Spare a Dime, where he gets freaking furious about how Squidward's freeloading in his pineapple. But he's ultimately a good guy, a very optimistic guy, just trying to get through his life and do what he enjoys best. Fry cooking, blowing bubbles, going jellyfishing with Patrick, doing karate with Sandy. He's just trying to live the life. Now with Lincoln, on the other hand, Lincoln is trying to live his everyday life with his 11 siblings. Here's the thing, though. I think Lincoln has a little bit of a selfish side that SpongeBob doesn't. It's not to say SpongeBob never does anything selfish, but in especially the episode Out on a Limo, you really get to see that Lincoln kind of has a bit of a selfish side, more than pretty much anything SpongeBob does. And we're only talking about the pre-movie episodes here. So, yeah. I definitely feel like Lincoln has a selfish side. He also is kind of selfish in the episode Making the Case, where he kind of caused this whole problem of releasing all his sister's embarrassing videos without their permission. So, with that being said, Lincoln is overall a good kid with a good personality, trying to live his everyday life with his siblings, but ultimately he can come off as a little bit selfish even in the first 3 seasons. While SpongeBob can have occasional moments of selfishness, he's mostly just a good guy. He's a lot more naive than Lincoln is. And overall, the square yellow guy is just a more enjoyable character. That's why SpongeBob is going to win this round. And next we go over the major characters, which is not including the 2 main characters. For SpongeBob, that would be characters like Patrick, Sandy, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, Pearl, etc. While the Loud House would include the sisters and Clyde. So as for who's going to win this round, let's go over them first. For SpongeBob, Patrick is the best character out of both of these shows in the first 3 seasons. I would say after season 5, Patrick became one of my least favorite characters on SpongeBob, as he was just a jerk after a while. Pre-movie Patrick is comedy Fort Knox, pretty much. He's freaking hilarious. I just quoted the Loud House, didn't I? But he is hilarious, from his mayonnaise and instrument to Wumbo to the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma to just every single joke he pretty much pops out of his mouth in the first 3 seasons is hilarious. You could almost say the same for Lenny, who is my favorite character in the Loud House. She is definitely the funniest character in the show. And I've gone back and forth on if she's my absolute favorite, but ultimately I would say she is. She's hilarious. Then you got Mr. Krabs, who is the greedy business owner, who ultimately cares for his employees, while in the later seasons he could give a shit about pretty much anyone except his money. Squidward went from a grumpy guy who ultimately came out of his comfort zone to realize that he wanted to have some of the fun that SpongeBob and Patrick were doing, to being a freaking torture victim in the later seasons. Sandy is the only character that I think is probably better in the later seasons, as she has more of a personality. Well, I just think she's a Texan who knows karate in the pre-movie episodes. She's a scientist in the later episodes. Pearl is pretty much the same, just a whiny teenager throughout the entire series. Gary is SpongeBob's pet snail, pretty much throughout the entire series. He, in some episodes in the later seasons, becomes a torture victim too. And, well, I like the characters in SpongeBob, but only one of them, well, 2 of them, because I really like SpongeBob, but SpongeBob and Patrick are by far my favorite characters of the pre-movie SpongeBob episodes. I like them all, but not as much as the Loud siblings, because they all have more unique personalities. You got Lori, who is obsessed with her phone and her electronics. You got Lenny, who is a fashionista who is very airheaded. You got Luna, who is the rocker of the family. You've got Luann, who is the comedian. You've got Lynn, who is the sports star. You've got I almost said Lincoln, but I already included him. You've got Lucy, who is the goth girl. You've got Lana, who is the to put it lightly, the dirtbag of the family, who loves all sorts of disgusting stuff, but also loves her pets. So that's why I like Lana. Lola, who is the princess. Lisa, who is the scientist. And Lily, who is the baby, who honestly probably has the least personality out of all the sisters, but overall isn't my least favorite. As for the best friend character, Clyde is pretty cool. I like Clyde probably more than most do. He's not my favorite character. In fact, I would rank him above some of the sisters, actually, but not all of them, and most of them would probably go above him, as he's just the typical nerd character, kind of, who literally needs like 7,000 medications and has to call his therapist all the time. It's funny, but also, he'll never be a Patrick Star. That being said, because the characters have a more unique personality in the Loud House, in terms of the major characters, I am going to have to go with the Loud House winning this round, because ultimately, I think the characters just shine a little more in this show, in terms of just all the major characters. And for the final round, we're going to be talking about what individual episodes I find to be personally better. Is the Loud House's lineup better, or is SpongeBob's lineup better? Come on. This one is probably the easiest one of them all. Sure, Loud House has Ella's for Love, A Tattler's Tale, Everybody Loves Lenny, and Driving Miss Hazy. But SpongeBob has Chocolate with Nuts, Band Geeks, Pizza Delivery, Snowball Effect, No Weenies Allowed. So many episodes. Christmas Who, Help Wanted, Tea at the Tree Dome. These, you can't deny, are all classics. There are even episodes that most people really don't like that I actually like a fair bit. Such as episodes like Dumped and Party Pooper Pants. I actually find to be not phenomenal episodes, but they're much better than a majority of modern SpongeBob. So, with these iconic episodes like Band Geeks, you have moments like Is Mayonnaise an Instrument? Or Sweet Victory. The ending to Band Geeks is the best, probably the best cartoon ending of all time. That's just freaking... It's applause worthy. Like, literally, you should bow down to that ending of Band Geeks. You got Chocolate with Nuts with SpongeBob and Patrick selling chocolate to everyone in Bikini Bottom to sort of make their own business. And then you get all these funny moments, such as the really old, crunched up lady and her mother, who's an even more crunched up old lady who looks like chocolate, to the guy who screams chasing them around town screaming chocolate, to the one guy making all the scams to sell them stuff. And then you got Pizza Delivery, which is the perfect example of why I think Squidward truly doesn't hate SpongeBob after all, and ultimately finds him annoying, but has a soft spot for the guy. That's not to say Loud House doesn't have any good episodes. Loud House has amazing episodes, such as Ella's for Love, Everybody Loves Lenny, A Tattler's Tale, Driving Miss Hazy. I'll even actually get into some of the post-season 3 episodes, like Perfect Gig and Kernel of Truth. There is a lot of really good episodes of The Loud House. But I don't think these episodes are going to ever be as iconic as the episodes of Pre Movie SpongeBob, which are like the most iconic cartoon episodes of all time. And that's why the easy win for the episodes round goes to SpongeBob. So ultimately, with a 3-2 victory, Pre Movie SpongeBob wins the entire contest. While seasons 1 through 3 of Loud House is very good and very enjoyable and is the best thing to come out of Nickelodeon in probably over a decade, at least since Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's never going to be a show that's like SpongeBob, and just its pure comedy, character, and episode quality. Loud House tries and has definitely gotten the best since pre-movie SpongeBob and maybe The Last Airbender, but SpongeBob is my favorite show on Nickelodeon, and I don't think anything is ever going to dethrone that. Mainly talking about the first 3 seasons, but there's even great episodes beyond that, such as Krusty Towers and Krabs a la Mode, but pre-movie SpongeBob is just amazing. It's in my top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. You really won't find that with The Loud House. I don't even think The Loud House is in my top 25 favorite shows of all time. So that's why the win goes to pre-movie SpongeBob. Even though I cover The Loud House a lot more than SpongeBob on this channel, I far prefer SpongeBob. So that's it for this versus that video for the first episode. I hope you guys like this new series. I don't know what the next topic I'm going to cover. I'm going to try to do this monthly, sort of like I do 20 questions. And, well, you'll find out in late June what the next topic is going to be. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Gaming Do here. See you later. Bye.